Hey-o. How we doing? Welcome to Mayday. It's Friday, February 27th. Almost the end of the month. It's almost March, which almost means it's almost April, which almost means it's almost regular season, almost time, almost. I'm your host, Trevor May. This is a show about the show. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff today. Actually, most of it is for you, the chat / people at home. So if you were talking in the chat, I can see it, and I can see it. I can see it. So, hello, everybody. Mohakman, what up, dude? How you doing? Papa Scott, hello again, once again. The guy Gloomy, what up, from California? Hello, how you doing? I don't know how you made your name, or made the word California so small, but you did it. I see you guys. I see you guys. Root the toot. Yeah, I can. We have many things to talk about today, many of which are, I would like to be supplied by you. So if you are here, you are live, you are in the show for the next hour, have your questions come in the chat, and we will collect as much of the best ones as we can find and try to get to all of them towards the end of the show, or just grab them as we go. We don't have a lot of scripted stuff. That is the Wednesday show. I do my little monologue and I do my little main story and stuff, but this one's community-based. I have some fun stuff to share in the stats, in the public stats facing, or public-facing stats kind of category, and like how you can get really cool information. You know, we go over Baseball Savant quite a bit here. There's been some new stuff in the works, and some ex-players making some cool stuff. I want to talk about that, and I want to show you what I've been working on a little bit, because I've been trying to keep it close to vest for a long time. I don't know what I want to do with it. I do know what I want to do with it. I have a bunch of different use cases here, but like, I've been debating whether or not how much I'm going to show to the squad, and I've decided that we're going to do more than I originally thought I was going to do. So here we go. All right. This is our show. Welcome in. I'm just trying to maybe make a little bit or slow it down a little bit so everyone can filter in. Now we're here. Now we're ready to go. Let's get right into it. Let's just let's go over what the internet's talking about in baseball. That is our first subject. The internet says, as always, DK found some great stuff. So let's talk about it before we get in that. If you're not a member, if you're not a supporter of the channel, of the company, if you're not a supporter of everything we do at Mayday, you can go to IamTrevorMay.com. You get 2 bonus videos per month, or more. Actually, I have a bunch of them in play. We're going to be doing a lot of like exclusive interviews with people that are related to the stories, maybe doing clarifications on other stories that are happening, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're interested in that, for $5 a month, you can get 2 or more bonus videos a month, plus a bunch of other goodies. Or you can just subscribe to the newsletter and get the updates on what we're doing every week, plus some other things as well. So this is all ongoing. We're almost to 100 supporters. I really appreciate it. All the subs at Twitch and YouTube as well. You can subscribe on YouTube or Twitch if that's what floats your boat. YouTube is $3. Twitch is $6. Nothing I can do about that, because Twitch doesn't let you change your prices, because Twitch is the best. Okay. Also, more Mayday. If you missed the show, or you're like, hey, well, what's been going on? I haven't checked in a couple weeks. The videos are probably there. Each segment, we curate them. We make them nice and bite-sized for you. You want to sit down and have a sandwich at lunch. You want to catch up on what's been going on? Boom. Gaboom. There's a new video going up in an hour from earlier this week. And this is getting more and more videos are going here. The main channel, the one you're on right now, is getting all kinds of other stuff. So expect there to be even more videos than there's already been somehow. I don't know. I just work here. Actually, I lied. I do know this is all my plan. It's all going according to plan. Hopefully that makes you happy. Okay, let's talk about what the internet's talking about. This is Internet Says, number 1, first story of the day. Giancarlo Stanton hurts all the time. And I can say, same, buddy, same. However, if you remember, last year going into spring training, it was reported that he was not going to be available, at least for all of spring training and into the beginning of the year, because of tennis elbow in both of his elbows. Now, if you're not familiar with tennis elbow, it is basically elbow tendonitis from rapidly extending your elbow. It's like when you go to swing, when you go to throw, you can get tennis elbow from throwing. Elbow tendonitis is tennis elbow. It is when you're going through like this and extending your arms and then bringing them through. It is from swinging. He has it in both elbows, and it seems to be back, and which tells me it's probably never going to go away. Here's a quote from Stanton himself talking about what's going on with him. I can't open a bottle, Stanton said. I can't open a bag of chips, a bag of anything. That's the way it is. Now, if you don't know this about Giancarlo Stanton, he is the hardest swinger in the major leagues by like a lot, okay? We have, in a league with O'Neal Cruz in it, who swings 78.5 miles an hour on average, this gentleman is the only guy over 80, and it's like, I think it was like 81.2 last year when he was healthy. He's literally swinging his arms off of his body, and if he doesn't rein that in, very similar like everyone tried to get Jake DeGrom to stop throwing so hard, then it's just going to keep hurting. That's pretty crazy, honestly. I can't imagine what it's like for both of your elbows to hurt when trying to swing a bat. He expects to play the full season. He's just going to deal with it. Looks like there's going to be a lot of painkillers involved. And it's crazy because when he does play, even when he's in pain, he's been very productive. In just 77 games last year, he hit 270. His triple slash was 273, 350 on base, and a 594 slugging. That's a 158 OPS plus, which is really good. 24 home runs. 24 home runs and 77 RBI. Like, he would have been on pace for about 50 homers. That's a great year. That's one of his best years. 66 RBIs is crazy. Like, that's a pace for over 130. Can you imagine? That's a prime Pujols year had he been healthy all year. So, but for more on the story, if you guys want to read more and kind of get even more in depth on it, speaking of the Substack, Mr. DK, our executive producer, wrote a piece about Giancarlo Stanton and whether or not sometimes you just should retire. You know, it comes down to how healthy you're going to be, but it's a great piece. You should go check it out, and obviously a provocative title. What does he mean by that? You only know if you go and read it. Thank you. All right, moving forward, Matt Waldron recently landed on the IL, though it had nothing to do with him breaking the record for the hardest ever knuckleball thrown, so don't get too excited. According to San Diego Padres' brand new manager and fellow ex-relief pitcher, Craig Stammen, he told reporters when he was giving an update on Waldron, Stammen said that Waldron was week to week after having surgery to drain an infection in his rear end. Stammen later clarified that it was hemorrhoids. Now, if you don't know what a hemorrhoid is, Google it, but don't click on videos or images. Thank you. It's a problem. It's very common in baseball. Obviously, a lot of effort being put into the throws. Sorry for just me. National outlets do not usually concern themselves with spring training or baseball in general. Like US Weekly and TMZ took advantage of the situation and wrote articles about Waldron. Also, a representative from Dude Wipes, the flushable wipe company marketed towards men. Be careful with these things, remember, guys. They get stuck with sewage systems and they cause backup, so keep it to a minimum. But told TMZ Sports that they would be happy to send Waldron some of the fragrance-free flushable hemorrhoid wipes. Medicated with witch hazel and soothing relief. Sounds great. Sorry about all of that, Waldron. But you know, we feel your pain. More baseball players feel your pain than you know. So stay strong, brother. Stay strong. Also, Craig, what are you doing? Why throw your buddy under the bus here? Okay, a couple more real quick. Peyton Tolley featured here with USA shaved across his chest. Has made a presentation on the United States of America for a team building exercise. Now, I need you to know this is like sometimes you do team building, you do presentations. Basically, you make the rookies get in front of you and do something like a talent show or something. One time we had Tyler Duffy stand in front of everybody and sew some pants. So, stuff like that. A lot of guys rapping, whatever. He chose to do a presentation on the USA because of Garrett Whitlock and Roman Anthony representing the USA in the upcoming World Baseball Classic. In his presentation, Tolley talked about some of his favorite American inventions like NASCAR, honey buns, and baseball. He ended the presentation by ripping off his shirt and revealing that he shaved USA into his chest. And then he played a pre-recording of a video from a competitive eater, Joey Chestnut, who has been dropped from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, by the way. Sad story there too. But by the way, that's just a cameo. So if you're like, he knows Joey Chestnut, yeah, no, they'll do anything for money. I used to do it. If you want to see the full video, you can go to the Red Sox socials and see what the whole thing is. But yeah, classic rookie. He's also wearing jorts, because of course he is. All right, moving forward, last thing. The Atlanta Hawks are in the news after they announced on Tuesday they will have a special one-night collaboration to celebrate the city's iconic cultural institution, Magic City. Now, if you aren't familiar or have not been to Atlanta in your adult years, Magic City is a popular strip club in Atlanta, known for their association with the Atlantic music scene and their lemon pepper wings. So, as a part of the event, Magic City's famous lemon pepper wings are limited edition merchandise. Don't know what that is. Will be available for purchase, and Magic City's in-house DJs will curate the in-arena music. I hadn't read that last part yet. Cannot wait to see what that looks like. Isn't the internet great? I love it. The internet, that's the internet for you, boys and girls, and that is Internet Says. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Okay. So, I know we have questions coming through. I'm reading the chat. Nolan McLean for Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, and potentially MVP. Let's just have a good season. Let's start there. Remember, he's in a league with Paul Skeens. It's almost to the point where, like, yeah, dude, he could have the craziest year ever, and Paul Skeens might still do better. So it's not looking good for the National League for a while for Cy Youngs, for a guy who's probably like Shohei Ohtani with the MVP, like a shoo-in unless something happens. So something to be aware of. But I appreciate it. Why is Mariners ownership so cheap? Because they like to keep their money. That's what owners do. Owners like to keep their money. Okay, let's talk about this Bob stock thing, because I want to communicate this a little bit more. Okay. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, no. Come on, man. Jesus. Hello. Minimize. Thank you. All right. Let's talk about this Bob Stack thing. Stop. Let's talk about this Bob stock tweet. Holy crud. All right. Demo. Where is it? There it is. So, this was sent to me, DK. So I've been talking to him a lot. So basically, Robert Stock, if you are not aware, we've talked about him a lot on this show. Bob Stock has built his own analytics platform using AI, namely Claude Code. As you just saw, my terminal is open. I am doing something similar. There's some interesting, though. Ooh, Branch, that's a good question. I want to get in that a little bit. Let me talk a little bit more about this so that you give you guys an opportunity to check it out. So basically, he says, I'm a baseball player. I've never written a single line of code in my life, and I still haven't. So he shows some cool graphics that he has built out for his stats platform that is called StockyardBaseball.com. I'll show you right now. So this is another front-facing thing. If you guys want to go look at some interesting, this is position weird. Hold on, let me move this. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. What is happening? Oh, yeah, we want to know what's over here. Cool. This is also still too big. What's going on? There we go. Cheezo Pete's, dude. There we go. So if you're interested in seeing this, actually, I kind of want to make this smaller. I'll move this over a little bit so you guys can see more of it so I'm not blocking so much of it. There we go. It's got a bunch of really cool metrics. I mean, it's depending on what you guys are interested in, but you can do all kinds of stuff. There's leaderboards, there's heat maps, though I do have one thing for Bob. These are not heat maps. I mean, they are, but they're not. These are not topographical heat maps. I hate the 4-quadrant. You can get more granular with that, Bob. Come on. So, but if you want to go look at some stats, it's an interesting way to go look. So if you're interested in them, he's got some cool things, but like it's based on basically a lot of the things that you've seen before. But he's built his own Stuff Plus models and his both location models. If you guys don't know what Stuff Plus is, it's normalized stuff to say how good pitches are overall. It's pretty cool, but he has had them help him build it. So I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. And it's out there for you to go look at. So that's Stockyard Baseball, and that's Bob Stock, arc wave. He electrocutes his face when he pitches. He's still currently pitching, too. He's got a minor league deal with the Mets again. He actually, last time I was with the Mets, when I was with the Mets in 2021, he joined us then. And also, I watched him run out a bunt and blow out his hammy in Cincinnati when we desperately needed like 6 innings thrown. But old Bob Stock, he's the next level, man. He makes me smile. So if you're interested in that stuff, go check it out. Go check it out. I think it's cool. I think a player getting into this is sick, but I wanted to show you what I use to do stats. So this is something I've been working on behind the scenes so that I can show you guys more stuff of what's going on and start to build cool stuff for my videos. So this is how I get ready for my videos now. And of course, we just have the basic stuff at the beginning, but if you want to know anything about any pitcher, look no further. Let's say McLean. Let's say Nolan McLean. Let's look him up. Let's see what we got. So this is all of his stats. This is all of his usage. This is all of his movement. This is everything you can find. Here's pitch log, where you can actually go watch all the videos of the pitches over here, which is pretty cool. Splits, game log, all of his results of every single at bat. Here's velocities, and you can create a bunch of cool visualizations about it, where he throws every pitch in every count, what his expected WOBA is in every count, what his X slug is in every count, what his X batting average is in every count, what his slugging is, what his WOBA is, what his batting average is. Here's all the pitches he throws and what they're hitting each count, or even better, based on pitch type, based on lefty versus righty, based on what inning it is, based on how many outs there are, all kinds of cool stuff. So this is what I use. You're going to start seeing heat maps like this all over the place. Now, this thing can do 1,000 other things too, much of which I need to keep secret from you because there is a separate thing. So if you're ever wondering, like, Trevor, where are you getting your stats in? I'm getting it from Triton Apex, which I built. So if anyone has any additional questions on this, I would love to tell you all about it. I can always bring this back up, but I just wanted to show that, like, there's more than there's guys out there doing this stuff, and I think it's really, really cool. I think it's really cool that players are taking it upon themselves. Though the coolest thing I can do is build you a custom report on anybody. I could build any scouting report on any guy if you guys are interested in that. So if you ever want to know, just ask, and I will show you. All right, let's talk. Let's just have a chat. Let's just chat about some stuff. Not about this stuff, because this stuff's all secrets. We're under attack. We are under attack. All right, let's get into AMA, because I just want to talk about some stuff. I am interested. Oh, question. We're going to get into some questions, and we're just going to chat, and I can bring stuff up and talk about it whenever. What do you guys want to know? What do you guys want to talk about? I believe Ottavino is building something similar too. Yeah, I'm talking to him a lot about this. So, yes and no. This is definitely more. This is different. This is way more in depth than what he's doing. But I'm going to help him build. I want to build him like a tab that's his. So, okay. Where do you see Littell and/or Giolito ending up? We are in the mode for Lucas Giolito and Littell are going to be offered really aggressively by teams that get early injuries that are competitors. So pay attention to that. I think there's a bunch of good fits. I think that those two guys wouldn't hurt any team they're on. I just think that the aggressive, like, neither one of them's going to sign a minor league deal. Like, there's going to be aggressive push to pick them up as a depth piece when some big piece gets hurt for a team that was counting on them to get a lot of innings from somebody. That's how to work. How much discussion? Okay, yeah. So that's about it. Which spring training is better, Florida, Arizona? Arizona, it's not even remotely close. Arizona's 10 times better. Also, how does it work out when you have teams have shared spring training facility? All their facilities are separated. So, like, they both have They both have like, it's like cordoned off. They both have almost all of their own facilities that they use, like weight rooms. I actually don't know how the weight room overlaps. They might share some of the weight room stuff, but like training rooms are separate, locker rooms are separate, food rooms are separate, everything's separate in that way. And then they just share it's the field that they're sharing mostly. So that's just what it is. That's the big investment. So the resource around the field. So but it's the facility is just twice as big as it normally would be for like a single place. Basically, that's how it works. Yeah. Can you pull old players? Can you pull up your pitcher stats? Yes, I can. I can pull up all StatCast data all the way back to where it was recorded in 2015, and then I can pull up historical data all the way back to like 1871. So I have all of Baseball Reference's stat set and all of StatCast's stat set, and they both update regularly every day. So this will all be regular. I can keep it up. But like the report system is the thing I'm going to be using, and then I've built out a visualizations engine. So you're going to start seeing some custom like rendered stuff on YouTube videos, and maybe even on the live show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it comes together. It's interesting. I've built 3 things with Claude Code recently. Okay, what was the question about? Someone asked me about Claude Code actually. This data being accessible for everyone is really cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome. How much discussing about SSW? I don't know what you mean by south-south. We're talking about south-southwest? I'm confusing. What do you mean by SSW? I might just be like in a different brain mode right now and not understand what you're saying. But sometimes I wonder if White Sox players look over at the Dodgers side of the Camelback Ranch lovingly. Branch, they probably do, and there's one guy in particular that probably does quite a bit. Which stats do you think are the most misleading? Do you think spring training performance matters? I think spring training performance only matters for the young guys because competitiveness and intent changes based on what you're projecting for the year. So if you know you have a role in a team, your effort doesn't matter as much, like your performance doesn't matter as much because you're not putting in your 100% like balls to the wall effort because it's stupid to do so because you can save it for the season. But guys who are like competing for a spot, they're working as hard as they can. They're trying to be peaking at the right time to make a team. That is what matters more. I love this. This construction company next door is the best. They're so cool. Oh, Steam Shifted Wake. How is Steam Shifted Wake? How much discussion is there about Steam Shifted Wake in all of the wake of all this AI Cloud Code stuff? I don't. Are we talking about how is like Cloud Code AI making it easier to model Steam Shifted Wake? Steam Shifted Wake's not that complicated. They're not really related. I don't really know. Yeah, they're not really related. Like the coding doesn't make it easier to understand or model it. It's not super hard to understand. Like it's not super. You don't need AI and Cloud Code to like come up with ways to use Steam Shifted Wake. Like you see how it spins and then you see how it moves and that's all you really need to know. But like, yeah, so not really. The vast majority of people have no clue what AI or Cloud Code even does. But I am fascinated to know if teams use it more now because it was my experience that a lot of teams really struggle to build their own internal analytics stuff, and now it's really easy to do, much more accessible. So it is kind of fascinating. Any thoughts on why the Twins organization seems to be plagued with injuries to star players yearly? I genuinely don't know because I was always, I'm going to say this, I think very few chronic injury problems are because of like lack of knowledge by a training staff or proper modalities. I think that everyone can keep people healthy. I think there's a lot of luck involved, and I also think there's a lot of pressure being put to handle injuries differently. So for example, the Dodgers could be saying they get hurt all the time. No, they just pull their players off the field the moment they feel anything. Like, that's why you feel that way. You feel like guys are injured more is because they're publicly saying guys are injured more. But they're probably not physically hurt more than other guys. They just go on the IL for less than other teams do. Like, if you can't afford, for example, Giancarlo Stanton, he's like, I'm just going to play through this. I'm just going to play through my tennis elbow. Every player is making that distinction. So, like, how safe you feel in your organization to say you're hurt or you're not matters a lot. That is what it comes down to more. So, like, I will say the Twins at the same time, they want to make sure they don't have catastrophic injuries. But again, when you have big injuries, sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's just like what you're doing out of the gate. But like for the most part, the gap between like training rooms from team to team does not vary as much as you think it does. It really doesn't. And I think training staffs get way more shit than they should. Way more. Have you thought of coaching? I have thought of coaching, but I want to coach in my way. And so everything I just showed you has actually been originally, it's two things. I'm going to show it again. Here we go again. So you can see I have a bunch of these little apps. This is for like researching stuff for media, but also I have the ability to create scouting reports for players directly. I could send them to them directly. And this is a portal where people with guys I work with could actually have an account and I can send them a report from it. Visualizations is I can show you concepts I'm talking about. Models are for matchups. Mechanics are going to be for I'm building a biomechanics lab in my new spot. It's going to be half of it's going to be a pitching. I haven't rolled this out because I haven't announced it because it's just going to be kind of an invite only situation in the beginning, but like I am going to do coaching. It's just not going to be traveling with the team. So I don't want to travel with the team. I would like to consult players directly on their careers and not work with the team. Does that make sense? I like work directly with the team, give guys tools, my custom tools that I used when I played, and then help them understand and then customize it for what they want. That is what I want to do. Now, do I want to work with I want to work with high-level big leaguers. I want to work with like high-level players. But I would also like to work with high school kids and college guys as best I can too. But like how that's going to work out, I don't know. But I am building that in that spirit, in that direction. That's where I want to go. I'm excited about it. Oh my God, Mark, I don't know what that is. That stupid meme. You need to stop coming in here saying the dumb meme. I don't care. I'm never going to answer the question. What's your workflow when building it? Are you vibe coding or are you using agentic development? I am vibe coding, mostly vibe coding. There's a little bit of agentic in there. So guys, if you don't know what that means, is like vibe coding's like you're just like, you have Claude in your terminal and you're like, hey, Claude, can you do this? And they're like, what do you think about this? What if we built this? And they're like, oh, I'll try it. And then you do it. That's vibe coding. And then agentic is you have a bunch of individual things working and chatting with each other and they just go off and do it. And then they come back with it. As opposed to you sitting there and be like, wow, like you're sitting in the room next to a person, and you're like, what if we did this? They're like, okay, does that work? And then like, that's what vibe coding is. And then agentic is like you're dictating it to the team, and then they go and they work with each other and they solve the problems together. So there you go. Which honestly, I'm going to say this before I answer this last question. We'll save Root the Toots question for a second. I will say, a lot of things about AI. I'm not happy with how AI is used in majority of cases. I think Sam Altman is a loser who just is really good at raising money, but is completely divorced for what the point of anything is, and he just really likes his status, and that's the only reason he does the thing he does. And he pisses me off every single day when I listen to his smug little face talk. But because he's making a bunch of things that are unnecessary because he wants to make money, not because he wants to actually do anything that he says he's going to do. But this type of stuff, like being a person who is a web developer, this is anecdotal from people I've talked to. Web development is, you have really cool ideas, but the vast majority of what you're doing is just tedium. Like it's like I know where I'm going, I just know it's gonna take forever to get there because I have to manually do it all. So if it becomes a tool that's like, it's just formula, it's formulaic. It's just a formula, it's a formulaic way of doing things. You clean up the code, whatever yourself, but it is formula. You can get it to MVP quickly. Like if we can speed that up, great. That's the tedious part. In editing, when I'm editing videos, cutting up there's this basic stuff that's always cut out of video all the time, and I have to do it manually every time. Having a tool to help me get through that spot faster so that I can get to the actual making thing, that is what I believe it is for. The tedium. If we can just speed up the tedium and then all the creative stuff is still the humans, I'm great. But we don't need it to, we don't need pictures generated. We don't need that. Like it's not a thing we need. Like we don't need it to write us books. We don't need that. We have enough people doing that. We don't need it. That's the fun part of doing the thing. Writers are supposed to like writing. That's the point. Like getting cool ideas out, right? So that's creative work. When creative work gets taken, it's what's the point? If it's not made by a human being, there's no point. Art is pointless when it's just made by not made by somebody who had a point of view. It has no point now. There's literally no point. It's just lost. So why are we doing that? It's because they just want a lot of people to use it so they can make money. So for the most part, I'm like, God, we don't need to do 90% of the things we're doing. But that said, if this was all this was ever made for, then it should be way more expensive, frankly. It just should be way more expensive. Because it's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting kind of just tired to listen to people gaslight us when it's very clearly, obviously, not what they're saying. Okay, if you had to pick one person to challenge Shohei for MVP, who do you pick? I'd go RAGA. Challenge NL MVP. Oh yeah, it's Ronald Acuna. Yeah, 100%. He's a dark horse to have another crazy year, by the way. He's a dark horse to have another crazy year. You know what? I'll say it. I'm okay with him dropping his stolen bases to 25 a year. Like we don't need him to steal 50. Just stay healthy, brother. So, how gay are you? 1 to 10. I don't know, like a 3, 4, maybe. Maybe just like a 4.8. Because there's some good-looking dudes. I'll appreciate a good-looking dude. Nick Pivetta, Cy Young, a dark horse. I wouldn't say Cy Young dark horse, but I would say top 10 pitcher. Yeah, I think that Nick Pivetta has been quietly very good for the last couple of years. Very good, and he's had some windows where he was really, 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 really good. But the one issue with Pivetta and the way that he throws is he's very high ride, but he's straight over the top, and he's just breaking balls and fastballs up. The problem with that is, as a starter, you're just going to give up homers, and then if you're not feeling good for a couple starts in a row, you're going to give up a bunch of homers. And that's just, at the end of the day, that is what he gets got by most of the time. It's just home runs. But that's just the nature of him pitching. Like it's kind of unavoidable. If you are running the Pirates, would Griffin break camp? That is very interesting. So, a couple things you need to realize about him breaking camp. If he breaks camp, his clock starts, he'll be a Super 2. So he'll go to ARB 4 years in a row. He's a middle infielder. So, no. If you want your team to be better, yes. But I don't think they're on the cusp either, so no. I wouldn't start him on the team. He won't start on the team. He shouldn't start on the team. But I'm not a big fan of people manipulating service time either, but that is what they're not going to start it because there's just no benefit. Because they're not they're not quite there yet. If he were the last piece, we're just missing a shortstop to do they would do that. But if they're going to start his clock and have to pay him a year early in ARB, and then that's just going to, that's how they think. So, if they can avoid giving him another year of arbitration, as you know, the Pirates are big on saving $2 million over 6 years. So. That's it. Got a face made for hockey? 100%, dude. I even already have a chipped front tooth. And a fake, my other one's fake because I got hit in the face with an airsoft gun. You're right, I do have a face for hockey. But I'm from the Northwest, man. We don't really do hockey up here. And I would have only kind of been a goon. I am massive. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm 6'5", 260 pounds. It's a little bit too big to be good at hockey. Objectively, there aren't 76 better people in New York. Oh, you're right, 100% Root. You're completely right, but that doesn't matter. What appearance made you the most nervous and how did you perform? That would be September 11th, 2021, and I blew it. stands out in my mind. Gave up a 2-run homer to Aaron Judge to tie the game in the 8th. It was on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So, what was the most superstitious player you knew? Did the exact same thing before every match. Everyone. So, baseball, dude, baseball players are the most, we are the most superstitious dudes. That whole thing with oh God, remind me, Major League, Jobu. The whole thing with Jobu and, you know, the Cuban player, I mean, I know it was a Latin voodoo thing, that's iffy, but like the idea that like superstition and like whatever, it's crazy. It's crazy. I played with guys who they would stop wearing things under their jersey the longer their slump went on. So like they would start with like, they'd stop wearing an undershirt. Then they would stop wearing sliders. Then they would stop wearing socks. Like, guys would do crap like that. Every time I came out of the dugout, I'd walk up the same way. When I would go out, take the mound, hop over the same foot, all that kind of stuff. But I also like put on my pants. I would put on my pants first, and then my jersey, my undershirt next, and then my cinch up the pants, get the cleats perfect ready before I put the top on. I wouldn't put the top on until right before I went out. Like all that stuff, you get so routine and oriented because it's the same day. It's like Groundhog's Day, over and over and over again. So you don't even realize what's happening most of the time. But then when something gets messed up, you're like, ah! And you're like, oh wait, I'm a little bit too dependent on this. So yeah, I'd say the most. But to answer your question, the most superstitious person I've ever seen. Who's the most superstitious? Oh, there's guys fidgety as hell. I mean, Nomar Garciaparra's got. I don't even know if these are superstitions or not. If they're just crazy tics. Like it's hard to tell sometimes. But no one really stands out because everyone's crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's all normal. It feels normal to where I'm having trouble recalling anything. Let me keep chewing on it. If I remember anything before we're done, I'll go back to it. Is the Jonah Tong Tim Lincecum comp valid? Yes, it is. Size, arm action, arm angle, and also pitch arsenal. Lincecum threw a slider, but he threw a curveball 12-6. He threw a splitter or a split change the same way, and he threw a really high ride heater. And then they also have like similar mechanics. So yeah, it's a very good comp. Very good comp. As a developing pitcher, should you emphasize your strengths or work on your weaknesses? You're going to hate this answer, both. And what I mean by that is, like, it's the way you should think of that question is they're both important, but the degree in which they are important at any given time varies. And so understanding where the limits are, finding the limits, the potential of those things is your goal. Shouldn't be like, I'm going to set my mind and say, I'm only working on my strengths or I'm only working on my weaknesses. You should just be like, okay, is focusing on building my strengths, because building my strengths is going to probably go faster because they already have some strength there, and weaknesses is probably going to go slower. But then you have to determine where the ceiling might be. So I would say start, like if you're taking a day and you're like, I'm going to work on both things. I'm going to work on something that I'm weak at, something that I'm strong at. That's a good way to approach it. Start with the weak thing. Do the hard thing first, and then hone the easier thing. So always touch on both, but spend more time on weaknesses until you feel like you're like, okay, now I'm hitting a wall where now the weaknesses are so hard I'm not progressing. Maybe that's where we got to go, and then keep working on the strengths. And then that process as a young guy, learning how to do that, just rinse and repeat it. Once you see it that way, you get pretty good pretty quickly. So that's what we mean by focus on the process. That's the process I would say, is hit the weaknesses first, but always touch on the strengths. Always maintain the strengths and work on them a little bit. And then when you go and compete, when you're out there and you're competing with the guy, do it with your strengths. When in doubt, what am I good at? When in doubt, what am I good at? When in doubt, what am I good at? Say it 3 times, like Beetlejuice. What is the one thing you wish you were better at as a player? Ooh, that is such a good question. That's such a good question. Okay. I'll give you 2 answers. 1, I wish I would have enjoyed my success more. So, towards the end of my career, especially like the last 3 years, when I was supposed to be in my prime and really feeling myself being a veteran, I was feeling more relief that I didn't fail than excitement that I succeeded. That sucked. I wish I would have leaned into like the fun of it more and not been so like life or death all the time. I had other stuff going on, so it was understandable that I was away, but that is one regret I have. And there's guys who like just, that's the way they are. They just like being around and it's great and they never have that problem and I'm envious of that. But the big thing, now that I do this job, I talk about like really interesting ways to have success or like to take chances on the mound or whatever. And I never really took any chances. I never like did a Granky thing where I was like, ooh, I'm gonna throw a backdoor slider randomly. I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. Like I never did that. And that's kind of the, like where I have an idea like, oh, I just threw a wild pitch up here. Maybe I could throw a pitch off and land a breaking ball. In reality, I just went back to like, what's the perfect one I want? Like I was very like narrow in my focus and I was afraid to like take any big chances on the mound. I wish I would have done that more because I think I could have done. I think the truly great pitchers develop that skill where like in a moment they have a crazy idea that they believe will work and then they try it and it works. That kind of stuff, that's courage, that's where greatness happens, that's where like amazing moments happens. And I just never did that. I tried to be as safe as possible, but once again, anxious dude, always like worried about failing. So like, why you know, that's they're connected. I wish I would have done that more, for sure. That would have been better. You have a fan mail address? I do. P.O. Box. Exclamation point P.O. Box in the chat. It should pop up. Question about sinkers at Coors. Can you go into more detail about why they aren't as effective there? Is it only because they're lack of break? Yes. So the reason they are not effective. Here's some science for you. Let me just channel my Hank Green. Glasses on. Okay, I'm nerd moded out. I've been nerd moded the whole time, but any object in space is being pushed on air from every direction. There's air pushing on this pencil, there's air pushing on our bodies, there's air, either on top of us or whatever. Actually, technically, air pressure helps keep us like closer to the ground. So like you can technically jump higher where there's less air, technically. Everything else in a vacuum, you can jump higher. So air matters for a baseball, as you can imagine. There's laces on a baseball because you're supposed to be able to manipulate the ball with using air. And in Colorado, there's like, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the air pressure on average is like 25 to 30% lower than it is at sea level. So like in say Anaheim, and then there's like Salt Lake's the same thing. Like it's high desert, you're on a plateau, you're just really high up in the air comparatively. And if you go half a mile up, it drastically goes down. It's like a lot. So when that happens, there's less air for one, the seams to catch, which a lot of sinkers slow down their spin, which means they're chopping the air more. And so that's why seam shifting a sinker makes it drop like crazy. But seam shifted wake needs really heavy air. Seam shifted wake probably works really well in Florida where it's humid and the air is heavy, okay? Then you go up there, now you don't have the air to manipulate. So the air you're making the wake in, there's 30% less of it. So it kind of just like, it's not as unpredictable, it's more predictable and it goes so it moves less and at a more consistent rate. That is very easy to hit. That is why sinkers don't work. That is why like most things that don't move do. Except for gyros. Gyros don't actually cut air. They are inefficient spins. So you want actual inefficient spins. Same thing with a splitter. Splitter doesn't cut air either. It's actually it's trying to move through the air randomly. It's trying to make it random. We're trying to cut through an air at a nice path or catch any air to move the ball. So like, because normal gyro sliders and splitters don't use those two things as much. There is a little bit, obviously, you're throwing a ball through air, but like they're not dependent on them for being good. They both are much less affected by the lack of air. And same thing with ride on a four-seam fastball. It's hard to ride a ball when there's no air underneath the ball. So like fastballs in general, you just can't get that extra movement because there's no air there's less air to use. So then, but like also when you're throwing velocity, there's less air pushing against the ball too, so it slows down less on its way home. So like it maintains its velocity about 20% more, which means if you throw 100, it looks like 98 when it gets to the plate as opposed to 96. That kind of stuff. So gyro is a mistake slider? No, gyro is a type of slider. Gyro is what we call the classic slider spin, the bullet spin. That's what gyro sliders are that. That's what they're called now because sweepers exist. Sweepers and gyros have completely different mechanics when they're spinning. There's just different spins, different things affect them, different things make them move. Gyro sliders are your classic Brad Lidge dropping slider thing. So the humidor is a joke? A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Now that's mostly, okay, so humidors are so that the ball also absorbs water. It's made of leather and a bunch of twine in the middle. So like basically what happens is if there's no air, if there's no moisture on the ball ever, it's harder. But if it's there's tons of moisture on it, it like the inside expands and then the ball becomes irregular. So it kills the drag. That's why they humidify. They're trying to get the ball exposed to the same amount of moisture everywhere before the game starts. Because in Chase Field, if they just played with normal balls, they'd be rock hard and they would fly forever, which is what's happening. And the ball flies there anywhere because it's Arizona. It's high, up in the air. It's high desert-ish, and there's very little air, and there's no humidity either. So it's like that's three things making the ball go farther, and they're like, we got to stop this. That's what humidity is. So, why doesn't anyone throw the gyro ball? You mean the one that doesn't move? They do. We just don't call it a gyro ball. Weird question. Do you still pitch if you didn't had Tommy John? Maybe throw a knuckleball? I'd still pitch if I wanted to. I'm getting in shape again, by the way. Trevor Throws Cheese is coming back, and I have a really exciting finale of that series to announce soon. We haven't like locked it in yet, so I don't want to tell you guys something that isn't guaranteed to happen yet. But it is happening. I'm actually getting in shape with a bunch of indie ball guys before they leave. I've already started throwing. I'm like 2 weeks in. We're gonna announce that we're doing a glove giveaway soon too. So like, just stay. If you guys follow me everywhere, you'll see it. But yeah, I bet you I could still pitch in the big leagues now. I'd probably throw 93, 94, and I wouldn't be as effective. And I'd just be probably a vet on his way out. But like, I think I could. Do you listen to any team-specific podcasts outside of the ones you're affiliated with? A little bit, Jodo. A little bit. Who would you rather face in the bat? Mason Miller or Aroldis Chapman? Yikes. Bro. I'd say Chapman right now. For the only reason is maybe I catch him on a day he's throwing 97. So that I can strike out and it'll be over and I just won't be as scared while I strike out. Like it doesn't matter which one I face. I'm Henry Rodengartner in the back. Like we're not even playing this game. I'm not even gonna compete. I'm not even gonna try. But Mason Miller's got that slider that I think he would make me look dumber. I don't know. It's exactly equal, but I'll give him the edge because he is throwing 102 every pitch. Like he never has a day when he's 96. He throws 100 every single time. So is the best location, okay. What's one routine that you do when you're still a pro that you still do this day? Dude, you guys with the the questions today are fire. You guys these are great interview questions. What's one routine that I do? One thing I still do is I still do like the health supplements that I used to do. I still do them all. Which I don't know how much that had to do with baseball. But like I take a sleep supplement. I do like, the normal stuff, fish oil, omega-3s, vitamin D, because we're in Northwest, and you need vitamin D. Stuff like that. So that's probably the thing I do the most consistently. Yeah, that's really it. And then I look at stats just as much as I did, probably. But that's for this. Is there anything you learned in Little League that you consider great advice for kids other than try your best and have fun? Okay, so maybe I never heard this explicitly said in Little League, but I think that it is, especially with the way everything is now, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but youth sports are worth $40 billion these days, which means there is a lot of rich people who are looking around and seeing parents with kids that play sports with dollar signs in their eyes. I think it was the hitting guy, one of the owners of 108 Performance, and he said, so a kid asked, how can I improve my swing? What should I get? What video should I watch? Whatever. And he said, buddy, at your age, here's what I want you to do. Pick up a bunch of different weird things that we can use as a bat. Like pick up your bat, pick up your big brother's bat, try using a big wood bat, try using like a pole, try using a PVC pipe, and then try to hit weird things at targets. Try to hit bottle caps, try to hit small little wiffle balls, try to hit actual tennis balls, try to hit actual wiffle balls, try to hit baseballs, try to manipulate a bat to hit a ball as much as possible. Make up your own games, make up different versions of baseball, do that kind of stuff, and do it as much as you can. That will teach you more about what you need to do to hit as you get older than anything I can tell you. And I was like, dude, yes! So like that would, same thing with pitching. Same with pitching. Be athletic. Play, like, even if you're a pitcher only, or even if you don't play shortstop, go take balls at shortstop, throw from different angles. Enjoy yourself. Find things that work. That, like, how do I get the ball to move this way? How do I get the ball to move this way? Throw a tennis ball in the wall and play. Like, just play. Make sure there's still play. Make up your own warm-ups. Like, challenge yourself to make things up, especially when you're younger. That stuff is awesome, because then, you know, it gets more serious as you go, and some stuff sticks with you. Sometimes you learn skills you would have never learned because you're hyper-specific too young. I was lucky. I grew up in the 90s. That's all we had. But now, I can't, dude. The way my brain works, I would have got overloaded. I don't know if I would be here. If I were 12 right now, I would have had no chance probably, because I'm just so like interested in everything. There's so much information. Would you tap your head to trust your catcher? Trust your catcher, 100%. I would never tap my head. I called it getting Nito'd. Tomas Nito got me twice an outing where I was just hot at the umpire, and I go look, I'm like, dude, that's 6 inches off the plate. What am I mad at? I feel like an idiot. Like that, yeah, catchers know. Like most pitchers are gonna do it unless it's absolutely egregious and you have a rookie behind the plate who's afraid. That's it. The only time it's gonna be like Chris Sale says he's never gonna do it, but if Chris Sale has a guy's second start ever or whatever, he's barely been in the big leagues at all, and he's terrified to use any of the challenges, the confidence-wise, that's the only time he'll ever do it. It's just to help his catcher out, to have some confidence. That's it. But if I have Cal Raleigh, I'm like, Cal, what do you got? Toto, thank you, man. Toto, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. What will the Astros need to be World Series competitors again? Really good players. They got to build that core up again. Altuve's old. Correa's still there, but he's getting older, right? But Bregman's gone. Springer's gone. They need Tucker's gone. They need their next group of guys like Cam Smith, and these guys need to turn into a new core. So that's number one. But I always think they're going to compete. I don't think they're ever going to be like gone because they're well run. They're well run. They know how to develop players, but they need to get their next young core. That's the next step. For a while there, like they handed off to Jeremy Pena. He took over when Correa left. Like they did it well for a while, but I think now that Framber's gone, we're not rebuilding, but we're probably in between cores. That's just all it is. Can the Orioles turn things around? They finally have some clubhouse leaders, backup talent they have. Bassett and Alonso. It's so funny you say that. Bassett's the leader. Pete, I love Pete, but he's not the most vocal of leaders. Maybe he is now. I don't know. But yeah, having two veteran guys like that is going to be big for them because all those young guys came up, they were successful right away, and then they had a clunker of a year. So how do you bounce back from that? You can get stuck in the morass and stay there for a long time if you don't address it. I think those guys will help a lot, especially Chris Bassett, bro. He is unfazed. He just went to the World Series. He's been on a lot of good teams. He knows what's going on, and he is not afraid to say what he wants. And Pete is just going to post numbers. He's going to make the guys hitting in front of him better. I think the best thing that ever happened to Adley Rutschman is Pete Alonso. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I am high on the Orioles. There's nothing in that. What's a belief you used to have about baseball you've changed your mind on over the years? Maybe not a belief. I used to believe a whole lot of like the rah-rah. You can just try your hardest and something will happen, right? But baseball is different in a lot of ways. Like hustle doesn't translate the same way. Like in basketball, right? You can be Pat Bev. You can just chase people around and be really good at defense, and you can have a spot if you don't do the offensive side well. Like just having a lot of energy and never giving up is a big advantage in football too, but in basketball a lot. Or soccer, that'd be a great example too. You're just willing to run longer than everybody else. You're gonna have a level of success. It doesn't work like that in baseball, so that was one thing. And two, I learned how to like separate platitudes from like, it's just this, guys. This is what you do. And then they just like leave. There's a lot of that. Like, just keep it simple, stupid. What does that mean? What do you mean? And I had to run into a lot of coaches that just said stuff before I realized that doesn't work. And that it's not just all about like this, like having epiphanies all the time. It's about the why. It's always about that, like the how and the why. Like why would we do that, and then how do we do it? Like if that's not there, then it's not really that helpful. Seems simple, but you'd be blown away. I sit there and watch coaches. I'm like, you just said nothing in 10 minutes. Nothing. There's every kid in here eyes glazed over, and that you gave them nothing actionable. Nothing. You just said a bunch of stuff that made you feel like you're saying something smart. And there's a lot of that. Big Meat Pete. Yes. Do you think the Jays are at a disadvantage assigning free agents because players don't want to play in Canada? I don't think players are. No. Players like Canada. It has nothing to do with playing in Canada. It just has to do with one. First of all, if your family's not coming with you, there's a bunch of travel stuff involved. There's a bunch of tax stuff involved. It's a country with different laws and different things. There's just it's a heavy lift to get used to. So like, unless you're going to be on that team for a long period of time, it feels daunting, feels like a lot. So that's mostly what it is. And then there's tax implications. Their taxes are higher, how that works. There's just additional resources you have to get in order to play in Canada. That's honestly all it really is. But that might limit like your 1-year deals a little bit. But yeah, that's what it is. Everyone actually is like, we all love Toronto. Everyone loves Toronto, the city. Everyone loves the fans. Everyone loves the atmosphere. Everyone loves the ballpark. Everyone loves the facilities. Everyone loves the food. Everything's great about everything there. It just comes down to those things. So that's probably why you only get the really big contracts going there, I would say. When do you feel the best? When did you feel the most physically fit? When you were playing the best, youngest? And did you feel vastly different now? Yeah, I definitely feel vastly different now. I definitely feel vastly different now. I felt the best probably in 2019, and then 2021 I got in really good shape, and then my last year I was in really, really good shape towards the end. It has something to do with, I'm usually in the best shape when I'm pitching the best. So those 3 years were like where I was feeling the most physically strong, and I avoided injury for the most part. Like my body felt good pretty much all year, and I got in a really good weightlifting program during the season to keep me in shape. But I felt strong. And now I feel weak. Though I'm getting dad strong from holding a anvil of a baby He's not a baby. He's almost 2, bro. He's not almost 2. He's 1.5 tomorrow. Wait. No, he's 17 months tomorrow. I also have dad brain. And he's about 6 foot, 130 already. So, what are your thoughts in general? Okay, have you ever have or give any nicknames? Oh, everyone gets a nickname. It's always something stupid. My nickname was Lurch. It's always Mayday. It's Mayday, Lurch, and in high school it's Marmaduke, which is based on a newspaper comic about a Great Dane stumbling around. So, but it's always like Mayday, Mazer, May. Like, it's just a play on your last name. Everyone has one. Big Amish, cool stuff like that. How do the facilities at historic ballparks like Wrigley and Fenway compare to newer modern stadiums? About 10 years ago, Fenway and Wrigley sucked ass. And Fenway's still, it's updated. It's just tiny. It's about space. So there's just no space. Though Wrigley they have expanded the clubhouse by taking away some other facilities. So Wrigley's gotten much better. The bullpens have gotten better. But in Fenway, there's nowhere to put anything. You can't you can't expand the bullpens. You can't do anything about anything. So it's so tiny. It's so tiny. And that's usually what it comes out. Are you gonna teach your kid to throw cheese? If he wants to. But he can also play the trombone if you want. I don't know. Well, he can play an instrument if he wants. He loves music. He's way into music. Music and Bluey. Hell, I'm into Bluey. Bluey's one of the best shows ever. I love that thing. I love that show. I sit there, I'm like, this is so good. This is so good. All right, a few more, guys. A few more, and I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna do a nice little Q&A video for the YouTube channel. Do you think any WBC teams, other than the obvious USA, DR, Japan, maybe Venezuela, could be a playoff team over 162? That's a good one. Cuba? Cuba might? Or Mexico? Maybe Cuba or Mexico? I always want to say the Netherlands, but they never have any pitching. There's no Curaçans that are pitchers for some reason. Chalk it up. There's no way you're just playing a trombone. Are you serious? Wow. Wow. It's crazy. Were there stadiums that had terrible lighting for pitching? Oh, no. It's all, first of all, pitching's always bad for hitters. There's no bad lighting for pitching. But no, all the stadiums lighting is crazy. It's like you're being flashbanged. It's as bright as it could get. There's no bad lit stadiums anymore. Boom. Okay, Kenley Jensen. Well, it's rare then, okay? You open the bottle, favorite Blue character? Dude, it's Bandit. Are you kidding me? I'm him. I am him. That is exactly how I parent. I literally model myself after Bandit. Also, I think Lucky's dad's pretty funny. What do you think Banzana's chance of making Guardians open today? Is he second baseman? I don't think he makes it open today, but I think he's up real quick. Yeah, again, Guardians are a team that just don't start guys' clocks right away if they can avoid it, man. He's another thing. He's just not, they're just not going to do that. Sorry. Give us your Team USA dark horse. For player? Like player to contribute? I think Logan Webb's going to shove. Bobby Witt Jr., he's going to be nasty. He didn't play at all. Favorite individual pitcher's pitch? Devin's changeup, Sale's slider, Skubal changeup. I like Skubal's changeup because it's exactly the same as mine. That's how I depend. That's how I do. That's how I like everything. I love Mason Miller's slider. God, it's nice. God, it's sweet. Spencer Strider's slider when he's right is great. It's really fun to watch. Honestly, you know what my favorite pitch in the league is to watch guys try to hit? Roki Sasaki's splitter as a reliever. Reliever, Roki Sasaki forkball. So fun. So fun. Love it. That's probably my favorite pitch in the league right now. So he was not good in his first start. I don't know if he's a starter. Funniest clubhouse guy that seems quiet. CJ Crone. CJ Crone made me laugh every day, every moment of every day. I love that guy. That's a good question. You guys have a lot of good questions today. I actually had a bunch of questions here that I just didn't get into, but I will. I will probably do these maybe for a bonus video, or maybe next week. So, guys, I want to talk a little bit. I want your feedback before I take off. I want your feedback. So we do. I want to treat Fridays more like the stream used to be on Twitch. Okay, and I want to like be able to bring up the computer. This is going to be easier to do during the season when there's more stuff to talk about. There's no stats to go over, so we're not really doing that yet. But I want to do the breakdowns. I want you guys to come with questions. But if you have them during the week on Fridays and you don't want to forget, go into the Discord and questions for Trevor and prompt me subjects, because guys, I'm always looking in there. Like I always am looking in there. Questions for Trevor in the Discord channel, questions for Trevor. And if you have not joined my Instagram community, Baseball is Alive, that is also a great way to give feedback, like to participate in community crowd-funded things we're doing. Like that is where I get a lot. I want to know what you want to know. We just brought on a new editor, head of creative. We have so much fun stuff planned for this summer. I'm so excited. We're gonna do so many things. Both channels are gonna get so many videos. We even have some like kind of experimental stuff. I am moving into a new facility too, so there might become a week or two where there's no shows. Just if you're ever wondering what it is, I'mTrevorMay.com actually has the schedule too with the Substack. The calendar's on there as well if you're ever wondering when there's a show. But even if you're unable to make the show, but you want me to answer something, you can do it in the Discord, say it in the Discord. It'll probably be talked about on the show, and then it'll appear in a video. So like, you don't have to be here. It'll probably still get done. That is the way it is. But we're moving to a new facility. That facility is going to be half production company, this show, and there's another podcast we're developing with possibly another relief pitcher. There's a bunch of stuff happening there. And then the pitching lab stuff, we're going to do a whole behind the scenes for that too. I'm going to be coaching. I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to show you guys the whole thing, the slow-mo cameras, the force plates in the mound, all the stuff we measure, how we work with guys, everything. All of it's going to be documented. This is all going to be coming out over the next 12 months to 2 years. Like it's just, it's so much fun. It's like a dream of mine is coming true. So I'm really excited, but I always want to know. Like, great question, Audio Enslaved. How's the quest to throw 100 going? Back on board. I am back on board. We're about to announce what the plan is for getting back in shape. Now, who are we kidding? The goal is 100. If I can get it, even if it's a pull down, even if it's a running crow hoppy thing, and I just do it once, that's great. But at the end of the day, I want to show how you learn to throw hard and what kind of things I'm going to run into as a 36 going on 37-year-old. Like, it's possible. I'm big and strong. It's possible that I might be able to throw harder than I did because I don't have to pitch in games anymore. But it's also possible that it's not there. But either way, we're going to learn. Either way, we're going to figure out if it's what it is. Where's the ceiling? I don't know. I want to know what that is. So yes, it's coming back. We are literally working on a short form video that announces me coming back and explains what's going on. And there's going to be a first episode in the next couple weeks because there's going to be other side characters. There's going to be a bunch of side quests. I'm throwing in some games. We have some guest appearances set up. Like, a lot of fun stuff. I'm super excited. Do you think there's anything that can realistically be done to get starting pitchers to throw more innings, or is it just never going to happen? It's just letting them throw. It's just the decision to let them throw. They can. This whole idea that they can't is crazy. They absolutely can. Guys are in shape enough to do it. They can do it. If they were told to do it, they'd be like, yes, sir, I'll do it. But it's about the people making decisions whether or not they let them. That's what it comes down to. It has to be better for the team long-term winning. There has to be a case made that starting pitchers throwing longer in games actually wins you more games long-term. If they're able to do that with analytics, then it'll come back. or if somehow it saves everyone money. I don't know. One of those two things. Those are the two things that drive every decision. So if we can figure out a way to tell that story, then that's the way it's done. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question before I leave. What happened to the Savage video? Okay, I'm gonna answer this one and then I'm gonna get out of here. Sorry, Nicolo, I'll save yours and answer it. Better I like to watch the pitchers, Juan Soto I love watching, or Francisco Lindor. What makes me like them? It's their approach and their ability to extend at bats. It's interesting, but also it infuriates me. Okay, what happened to the Savage video? Here you go. The Savage video is part of basically what's happened is I basically have a template, a script for how I want to do that video, okay? I've been testing it, trying it. Our new editor came on board, now he can edit it. The whole thing came down to it, like, it's a little bit ambitious. I'm not gonna be able to do this as fast as I wanna do it. But now, we're really close to having it set. So now I have all the research done, then we can film it, and then it just goes out. It'll be out in a couple days after I film it. My goal is to have it out by the middle of spring. It's the first one we're gonna do, and then we're gonna do a bunch of series. So you guys can then say, okay, now do this guy. And it'll be similar format with a lot of the same stats being covered in the same categories. Basically, we're rating pitchers on 6 categories, like they're a video game character. That is what it's gonna look like. So that's what's happening to the Savage video. That's where we're at. It is moving. It's just, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just sit in front and be like, this is what he does, blah, 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 blah. I'll still do those, but for certain guys, I want to present it in a little bit more fun, easy, faster paced way to hear, like Punch Tickets was. Does Trevor Bauer pitch in the big leagues again? No, he doesn't. The ship has sailed, probably. I think he knows that too at this point. Sorry. Or he might. I could be wrong. Either way, I could be wrong about it, but if it were my guess, probably not at this point. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I just want to thank everyone for being here, chilling, hanging out. We will be here on Wednesday. That is March 4th, Wednesday. We're going to be starting to do our series of predictions and our rankings for everything from bullpens to starting rotations to the teams in general. I'm making a bunch of bold predictions going into the regular season, and I will be announcing things quite a bit on videos coming up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe to more Mayday. Also, if you want to keep up with all that kind of stuff, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. That's where all these videos are going and everything is being put. And then also the Substack. Substack, we have a bunch of editorial. We also are working on possibly a big partnership for that. Things are happening, and it feels really good. And I just want to thank everyone because this is kind of just a dream that is kind of happening. I've thought about doing this whole thing for a very long time. And it is really crazy to just be like, oh, it's actually happening. So I'm very excited for the future. Before I get out of here, I just want to thank producers DK and Henry in the other room for writing and helping produce. I want to thank editors Ethan Jones, David Foley, Aaron Demet, and Emily Sharbaugh, who does the podcast. As always, don't forget to slow down, drink your water, watch your baseball, and I'll see you next time here on Mayday on the Trevor May Baseball channel. See you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.